The MG Show. The show is about to start. Buckle up, 'cause here we go!
What you know you can't explain. But you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong. You don't know what it is, but it's there. Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. Experience the awakening. Brilliant anonymous researchers. Patriots, join us in the Patriot Army. Trust the plan, pain coming. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. RedStateTalkRadio.com, Brighteon.tv, Rumble.com/MG Show. The end won't be for everyone. That choice to know will be yours. Where we go one, we go all. Fight, 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 and fight we will. We fight every day right here on the MG Show.
Wow, here we go. Oh my gosh, guys. Welcome to the MG Show. It is December 17th, Trump Day and Q Day. So that's Q plus day, apparently, because we got the 17th and Hump Day, Trump Day. But every day is Trump Day. But today's a very special day. It's December 17th, Shady.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you guys so much this December. I'm going to have to be easy and slow down here for a second, guys. Am I 5'5"?
No.
There's an 80% chance that I'm muted right now.
I can mute you right now if you want me to.
Because due to my antics towards my producer, I'm skating on thin ice. Much love to each and every one of you.
We might be working together on that, Shady.
Yeah, no, it was a group effort today, and he is such an amazing 17 in the chat. If you love the MG Show producer, Wet Yeti.
There he is there.
Oh, that was
Thank
Yeti?
you, Yeti? Yeah, that's Yeti.
I didn't know he sounded like a sea lion.
Well, when he's foraging,
he kind of gets like excited.
Yeah, he gets excited. And
Right. It starts like making the groaning.
He finds like snails, underneath a rock. That's what he sounds like. Want to thank Cram for the subscription. Also, Paul Bunyan, welcome to the show. Good to see you. 1 subscription to the MG Show. Patriots for 17 Patriots for Truth. Where we go one, we go all $17 Rumble rant. Thank you so much. I want to, guys, please get over to the YouTube show over there. Even if you watch on Rumble, get over there and help like it as well. And then like Rumble, we need more likes. We need more likes. I
don't think they like it.
Do you know what I'm saying?
No, it's like they don't like it. It's got to be like they don't like it. And
you gotta like it.
The like. If they don't like it, they don't like it.
You gotta hit the like. The like. You
gotta like it.
Oh my gosh, we got a bunch of people over there. We got Tasha over there. Welcome, Tasha. We got Liberty's over there, the beautiful Liberty. Tony Tutors is out there. Mike Hess is over there with the 17 over there, light in the dark. These are the people over on YouTube, youtube.com/inthematrix with 3 X's. And we got the One Leg Craig out here, JRT Navy, Ducks, D Sweet, Perkins, Joe Ray, hello. Mike Hess is also over here at rumble.com/MG Show. DBQ 17 girl, hello. Bonster's out there. Fickle Fuss just says, please introduce us to Wet Yeti. Please introduce us to Wet Yeti. You need to have them on the show just one time, says Fickle Fuss.
It's a them. There's more than one.
Well, I think Wet Yeti's he volunteered to co-host, so he's going to be showing his beautiful face and.
I can't wait for that.
Right?
Yes, that's going to be amazing.
Come on.
I'm going to be the biggest fan.
So Duck says, like it again, it will go away. Just vote like the Democrats, guys. Keep liking.
Wait a minute. Okay, yeah, I can approve that.
Okay, we approve of that message.
Well, I had to consider what you were saying there a second.
We got Shiny Object Cram. Love Cram. Agent Miami's here. Love her too. 17 Patriots. Scottish Shannon is out there who's doing a lot of Q music out there in his kilt and his smooth dome. Good to see you, Scottish.
Isn't it a little bit
I see
winter
him right
time
now.
for the
I can
kilt?
see you.
Oh my goodness, he can see. You're in the backside of the meme?
Yeah, what if I told you you're inside
you were
the meme?
in the meme.
Yeah. United States of Q, welcome. Good to see you. Russia's out there as well. We're doing that. Major IP is out there. Is Major IP also? Oh, no, he's Major IP over on YouTube too. And we're also on Facebook. What is it? mgshow.link/Jeff FB. Jeff FB. We're also on x.com/in the matrix with 3 X's. Get over on True Social. Go over there. And we're on TikTok, guys. So I just want to thank Shady for finding this tool. We found a great tool, no pun intended, to do shorts. And we're putting those shorts on YouTube and we're putting them on TikTok. And we're going to need your help to go over and under to comment and like those and maybe share them as well if you feel so inclined. But we're going to need your help. We're trying to get out of this echo chamber, guys. We're trying to find more people like you, not people that have been set against us to discredit Q, to discredit the MG show, to discredit me. Only the Democrats have been targeting me. Like Hillary Clinton put me on a list. We've got, what was Angus King, independent but votes Democrat, put me on a list of people he wanted off X. Media Matters, Democrat, wanted me to starve. They wanted this show to starve, Shady. They wanted you to starve. They wanted me to starve. So they got our Patreon, our PayPal, our Cash App. But we're taking it all back. PayPal, Cash App is Real MG Show. Both of them are that. We want to get out of this echo chamber. We want to get out of the people that have been, what do you call it, Shady Group? Putting us down. These people want to take our audience, but they'll never take somebody that sees the truth for themselves because the truth is learned, it's never told.
It's talking around InfoWars. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to talk people out of the psychological operation that is InfoWars, and also we're trying to talk to people and find people that are actually supportive of Donald Trump and his administration. What we understood going into Donald Trump being elected the president was that psychological operators like InfoWars and stuff that were throwing their weight behind Donald Trump and making it look like that they were supportive of him would eventually turn and do what they always do. They're built to cause chaos, and they are built to generate a stepping stone or a stumbling block or an obstacle course for you to find your way to any type of true information. The outrage, that Alex Jones presents is not righteous indignation. It is absolute clownery is what he's doing. And so he doesn't really care about the things that he's bloviating about. He's just bloviating about the next thing that comes across his desk. And he's been doing it for 25 years. So the people that are out there, I think a number of people, I hear a lot that you, as our audience from you, used to listen to InfoWars and Alex Jones, but you can't listen to it anymore. If that is true, there has got to be tens and tens of thousands of people out there that are exactly the same as you. And so our aim is to utilize, Jeff was talking about the shorts. Well, we know that the younger generation has a much shorter attention span. And so we're going to try to reach them by them seeing our clips and recognizing, hey, wait, there is a show out there that isn't like Bannon. There is a show out there that isn't like Alex Jones. There is a show out there that supports Donald Trump and what MAGA really is and understands that America First is a psyop by the InfoWars crew.
Yeah, exactly. This is our TikTok. It's tiktok.com/@mgshow.clips, guys. I've got several up here. The anti-American, that's Shady rant right there. Pretty good one there. We've got the CIA when we just found out we were like working with alongside people in the CIA, Patrick Byrne, self-admittingly. We've got a bunch here as well that we're putting up, and we're going to keep going, guys, and we need your help. TikTok.com/@MG Show Clips, or if you're just on the app, go search for @MGShow.clips, and we'll be posting much more up there, guys, and we need your help, okay? We're not monetized on TikTok, but because they suspended me the first time because of Media Matters and their BS. But I did submit an appeal. I said, well, Twitter gave me my stuff back. YouTube admitted they were wrong for censoring me, and Facebook as well. Why can't I be monetized on TikTok? So, but we're more concerned, obviously, about the information. That account has 22.8 thousand followers, and we're going to continue with that account and just keep going. Set Hat just started following me. Thank you, Set Hat. Appreciate you. So follow us on mgshow.clips on TikTok, Shady.
A TikTok. We're going to break the algorithm over there.
Yeah, we've got to, and we need your help, guys.
We do need your help. And by the way, I'd like to give a really quick thanks and let the audience thanks another round of 17s to all the people that chose to become premium members this year in 2025 of this show. That can be looked back on as probably the moment that the show was moved from going away to staying around. And so for all of you that decided to do that, I want to thank you very much for keeping us here at the microphone. For the rest of you that are out there all around the world, another big thing that people don't understand is we have a massive international audience. So all of the people that are around the world, thank you so much for caring enough to pay attention to see something that's a little bit deeper than what the people that are currently attacking Donald Trump, that used to support Donald Trump, are seeing. They are pretending that Donald Trump is failing. They are pretending that MAGA is dead. They are pretending that the momentum has slowed. It has not slowed in the least. And as a matter of fact, it's going to be about another month or two. And all of the seeds that we planted with Donald Trump throughout the year of 2025 are going to start reaping harvest very, very soon. And once that starts to happen, the economy is going to go gangbusters. I can see a world where the American economy grows between 6 and 8% in 2026. I'm not joking about that. I know they're saying, oh, it's going to be like 2 to 3%. It could be 6 to 8% in 26, and it could be 6 to 8% more than 26 in 27. That's looking at 2-year span from right now. You could be looking at an economy that is almost 20% bigger than the current economy in America. That is not going to go unnoticed, and mainstream America is going to see something that they have never seen before as far as the wealth in their pocketbook in about 6 months.
Yeah, and Trump just made the announcement that because of tariffs, our our debt, guys, has gone down dramatically, guys. Yep. And this is also a way to keep your sovereignty. Literally is national security. The tariffs are national security to use as negotiation tools, right? To get what we want, and like peace and stuff like that, and then make people prosperous. And Donald Trump is undoing what the deep state cabal has done to the Middle East. We are now allies with people and countries in the Middle East, guys. This is unheard of. They screwed the Middle East out of oil, okay, and being prosperous, and Trump is undoing that, guys. I don't think people realize exactly what President Trump is doing for everybody.
No, they don't. Because you know what he did that's the brilliant thing? Is, okay, so we all looked at the national debt, Jeff. We looked at the national debt, and we saw a money problem. Trump, and he saw a math problem. Yeah, that's a completely different thing, because you're talking about $38 trillion in debt. Well, that's double the GDP. So if we can, so all we have to do is double the GDP, and then it's all of a sudden even with the debt.
And then your children, guys, my God, I tell you, what is happening? People are overlooking because they're so distracted over. I mean, right now they're saying that Bongino is quitting. They have nothing. They have no sauce on that. Just they said that before. So this is round 2 of the PSYOP. They don't like Kash Patel and they don't like Bondi. They don't like President Trump. If you're attacking any one of those sources, you're essentially attacking Donald J. Trump. Anybody in Trump's cabinet or one of Trump's appointees, you are attacking Donald J. Trump by proxy. These people know this. The intelligence committee knows, or intelligence community knows, how to start wars by proxy. And this is a psychological operation that Kyle Serafin's releasing on you, Alex Jones, Marjorie Trader Brown. All these people are now going against Donald J. Trump by proxy. They
absolutely are, and they're cowards because they're not going after Trump directly. They're going after the people around him. That's a coward.
Yeah. Did anyone else see the America's Future event? Yes, we did. Tyrus from the 5 on Fox News was there. It's okay. Do you remember the Q post that specifically states don't wait? Let me get it, because Alex, this is a hat tip to Alex, our friend. It's Q post 317. Okay. It says, Q, where were the White House Anons really? Were they really Secret Service? The ones who showed the White House Christmas photos? Secret Service watches everything, and it was after the party that night. No people were in the photos, which would be hard if 400 plus guests were there. Were they showing whose side they're on? Our side? And then Q says, don't mistake journalists invited to parties as insiders. I think that is a Q proof. They rented out Mar-a-Lago. It's a public meeting space. You buy tickets. They just grifted for their grift, Shady Grove. You just gave, if you were at that America Future party, you just gave the enemy money.
You basically just handed Arabella more power.
Yeah.
And what they do is that they approach people like Tyrus and people like Mike Tyson and celebrities, and then they tell them, oh, we're giving you a Person of the Year award. And the next thing, like, refuse the Person of the Year award. That's what they did to Tucker and Russell Brand last year.
And guess who they did to it last night? So Flynn gave Charlie Flynn an award at Mar-a-Lago. Who hates Trump.
For doing what?
Okay. For doing
what? For
setting up President Trump on January 6th.
The guy literally quit the day after Donald Trump was elected, and he gets an award because what they're doing is they're raising money. They're doing events so that they can raise money for their own coffers. Okay. The money is going to them. What Flynn has is he has a bunch of networks underneath his network. And so when he does one of these events, he spreads it out on all of those. And then he stands underneath them with his bucket and catches it and brings it back to the top. It's crazy.
Yeah. And they're all either knowingly captured or captured. And I do believe that there are good people that are just captured, because who wouldn't want to go to Mar-a-Lago?
No, everybody, like people like I said, like Tyrus or Mike Tyson or whatever, like of course they're going to go. You're being offered an award and you don't know anything. But this is the way that the clowns, the intelligence agencies, this is the way they use celebrities to generate clout.
Mm-hmm. That's right. All right. Wow, guys. And don't forget, you can support us at givesendgo.com/helpmgshow. You can go to mg.show instead of .com. It's .show. mg.show/donate or support, whichever one you want to use. And that one you can do monthlies as well if you need your help. I see that our MG Show chat on X, they want Q Lounge Lives. Well, Q Lounge Lives takes a lot more time out of our schedule. We're busy working our butts off as it is day to day. And, if we can get out of this echo chamber, we'll get more Q Lounge Lives out there for you, right, Shady? I mean, we're going to do it. I mean, but it's up to you guys.
It's up to you.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Wow. So I saw Lala Linda follow us. I saw another person by the name of Rick follow us on TikTok. Get over there to tiktok.com/@mgshow.clips, or if you have the TikTok app, @mgshow.clips. Okay. And we'll be posting a lot more clips. I did a couple of tests. We're still on TikTok. So let's see what happens, Shady.
I think that we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
I think that actually, the more, and I haven't done a lot of stuff on TikTok, and I've just now started paying a little bit more attention to that platform. And I do think that we have an opportunity to kind of to utilize that as the workaround of our censorship problem.
Yeah. Also, there's a Q Live Lounge playlist. These episodes they're not timely, right? They're
timeless.
They're timeless. Exactly right. They're timeless. So if you want to get the playlist for the Q Lounge Live archives, go to mgshow.link/Q Lounge and you can watch. I mean, it's almost like, watching older Bill Cooper episodes, guys.
Well, the stuff that is present on Rumble was original content. I did 1 full year here on Rumble, and so all of this, there's roughly 30 episodes or something that are here on Rumble that I did after the election, and give a really good summation of not only the current aspect of why things like Donald Trump really being the president weren't true, but also the historical nature of the most interesting thing to me is the real debate in America. The real debate in America is between the Federalists and the anti-Federalists. That's the debate. How much power does the state have? How much power does the federal government have?
Yeah.
Outlining that for young people would be essential for them to understand the country that they're in whenever they get older, to understand the dynamic between Democrats and Republicans. Because there's a tussle going on where all of these people agree with a segment of things, and all these people agree with a segment of things. But if you're an irrational human being, you could almost in no way agree with all of either side. You have to compromise a little bit of what you think to agree all with either side. That dynamic is the dynamic that the founding fathers really wanted to set up into your brain, because it gives you the ability to sort of argue with yourself. And that ability to sort of argue with yourself is what makes you very, very intelligent. I feel like that's what the two of us do here, is we're presenting things to each other, but first we argue with ourselves, and then we argue with each other, and then we bring it to you and say, what do you think? You see, like, that's the dynamic that we should be producing information with, not this dynamic of like charge full of emotional outrage about things that are just nonsensical.
Yeah. I want to thank Debbie444 for liking and reposting all the videos on mgshow.clips on TikTok. Thank you.
That was amazing. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, that's what we need you guys to do. And I'm going to try to follow back you guys if I can. It's a lot of work, guys, but thanks to Shady and a little bit of research, we now have a tool that is putting these clips together. I mean, there's a little bit of work to do, but it's genius, Shady. So I want to thank the listeners for actually helping us buy this tool, and Shady for finding it. Thank you.
Awesome. And thank you for figuring out how to use it, because that's definitely not in my wheelhouse.
We'll get it. And, we got Shady rants coming for you. We got even some maybe meme rants as well. But, and it's funny, it ranks them as far as virality, right? So if it can go viral, it'll rank at like 98%. And, so you're looking at how the different ones are. So I'm just using that as a template now. But I know Spilty said that she saw one that she really wanted, but she wanted to give me the timestamp of a Shady rant. But we're going to do the best we can, guys.
I'm glad you brought that up, because other people can do that now with this tool. I think you'll be able to recommend a timestamp, and we can actually find the clip from the video a lot easier once we've got it put over there. So that actually might be something for the future that we're looking for ways to also, by the way, to be more interactive with you. And this is what a great part of having YouTube back. And we're probably going to start doing some maybe some newsletter stuff here soon too.
Like, I'd like to thank Matt Hatter. You just followed me. Thank you. And you're getting a shout out live. This is called what other podcast hosts really interact with their audience as much as our show?
They don't. And I think that's the reason our audience is here, because we wouldn't be here if we didn't interact with our audience, because you guys have iron sharpens iron, and we have been wrong a number of times. And we see that you're saying this, and we're like, oh, we go look at it, and then boom, you're right. And we're not so egotistical to sit here and say, oh no, and just ignore it and move on. That's the problem with all the operators. You see, we started bringing up all of these different things that are inconsistent about certain people. And instead of look at it and say, well, yeah, I care about that, I'm going to support him anyway. Instead of doing that, they say, oh, you're a racist. And you're a rah, 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 rah. It's like, wait a minute. No. I'm showing you a very clear fact. You're welcome to ignore it. There's nothing wrong with me, because I'm pointing out a fact to you.
Yeah. And I see Lydia's over there on TikTok. Thank you, Lydia. We love you. She's been active over there for a while. And go follow her too. MAGA Lydia Free, right? Yeah, MAGA Lydia Free. She's over there. We need to build a coalition of patriots, guys, and helping get our videos, if you choose to share them, of course. If you don't want to share that one, fine, but help us share out as many as you can.
Did you just bring up a coalition of the willing?
Coalition of the willing.
Wasn't that like one trying to book got us into like weapons of mass destruction and stuff?
There's Carol Ann, Life of Carol Ann. God bless you. She reposted the video and liked our video. Thank you so much. See, I'm watching you guys right now. Aligar 33. Oh, getting a bunch of follows right now from the people watching right here on YouTube, Facebook, X, or listening to our podcast later. We're going to get, because we always get, people watch the show later. And I just want to thank you for going over to mgshow.clips on TikTok to follow us, Shady Groove, and like our videos and comment, because that helps with the algorithm.
Absolutely. And I absolutely will shout you out, JoJo Gunts. Thank you so much for being here. And it's okay. All you need to do is be present. We don't need your contributions. That's one of the reasons that we don't need you to contribute if you can't. We just need people to contribute that can. And we're and that is going to be plenty enough for this show to be successful.
Yeah. And I was going to just tie on, and we need more people breaking out of the echo chamber that we were stuck in. Rhythms on X. We need more people. Okay, and that's what we're after.
Sharing the content. Actually, in all reality, with us on social media and sharing our content and commenting to us and things like that is just as helpful as people contributing financially. And the reality of the situation is, what we've discovered is that it's always enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes it's barely enough, but it's always been enough. And that is the little miracle that we don't really talk about here since we started doing this. Remember, we did this show for the first 3 years with no monetization whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah. Want to also thank Altam. Thank you. UP Melanie. Thank you. United States of Q is out there. Life of Carol Ann. Mark Fowler. Hey, lady. You guys are awesome. Get that TikTok going for us. This is one way to help, Shady Roof. See, this is what we're saying. Agent Miami's over there liking videos. Thank you.
We're going to use the show to promote ourselves, dadgummit. Nobody else gonna do it for us.
We don't have like Carly Bonet posting us.
We don't want her either,
even though we helped her so much.
Yeah, we don't want her anymore.
Yeah.
We helped everybody.
Holly Moore, thank you for the 1 subscription to the MG Show. Thank you so much. All right, so let's get on with some business. Well, we took care of some business. We really appreciate that. And sometimes we just gotta implore to you guys. You here with us every day, whether you donate or not, and the donations are needed, yes, but your prayers, they're invaluable, guys. Thank you.
It's effectively an announcement that there will be season 8.
Yeah, we got it. Storm Rider, $50, huge happenings coming. Happy Q Day. Thank you.
Today's gonna be huge happenings, by the way, with the president's speech tonight. I have a sneaking suspicion that we're going to have a whole heaping helping full of Christmas goodies in the speech tonight.
Yeah, there's going to be some comms, I bet, because the speech is going to be called what? The best is yet to come, Shady?
The best is yet to come. And we've heard, it's almost like we've heard that statement before.
So the last time we were on X, we got taken down off YouTube on 10/17, right?
That was, yep. And on 10/17/20 was the last time that the phrase "the best is yet to come" was posted. That would be 5 years, 2 months ago.
And it said, "We are here, and the best is yet to come." Wow. So, unreasonable search and seizure at Mar-a-Lago, guys, okay? That was the FBI's criminal raid on Mar-a-Lago. This can never be allowed to happen again, President DJT. I'd like to also note that we have, first-hand knowledge of the judge and the lawyers, Shady Grove, because I was deposed by the judge that signed off on the Mar-a-Lago raid, okay? And the lawyer was the Steele dossier lawyer, and that was the Flynn versus CNN case that I can't talk about what I said. I still think they have my testimony blocked or sealed, but boy, you should see what that testimony was. I handed them their ass as well.
Did not expect.
All right, so no wants you to watch it. Check it out.
Bombshell
Name Trump.
revelation shows just how weaponized the DOJ was under Joe Biden. Now, shocking new memos turned over to Congress today, revealed that the FBI warned the DOJ repeatedly they did not have probable cause for that raid at Mar-a-Lago. But under pressure from Biden's weaponized DOJ, they conducted the raid anyway. Among the shocking revelations, including one email revealing the FBI field office did and articulated this to the DOJ. They had, quote, established probable cause for the search warrant for classified records at Mar-a-Lago. Despite this, another agent wrote, quote, DOJ has opined that they do have probable cause, requesting a wide scope, including residence, office, storage space. One official even warned that the information they had was just from a single source, not corroborated, and may have even been dated. Earlier today, on a post on X, FBI Director Kash Patel did confirm the documents, writing in part, quote, we just turned over documents to Capitol Hill to be made public, showing that the FBI told DOJ that they did not have probable cause for raiding President Trump's home at Mar-a-Lago, but DOJ didn't give a damn. They did it anyway. With the very latest, justthenews.com founder, editor-in-chief, and chief investigative reporter John Solomon. And remember, John, the FBI had access that was given to them by President Trump and his team, open access to the Mar-a-Lago. After they left, they called and said, by the way, would you put another lock on one particular storage room? They complied. Nothing would have prevented them from coming back anytime they wanted, but no probable cause?
Yeah, well, that's what these emails show. First, they show that the Trump administration or the Trump team and his lawyer were cooperating. And in fact, the FBI wanted to leverage that cooperation and create a amicable solution that didn't involve a raid. The Justice Department said they weren't interested in making accommodations like that. Then the FBI told the Justice Department, the Biden Justice Department, that it didn't have probable cause, that the information they had was outdated, single source, couldn't be corroborated. They didn't have true evidence that President Trump himself may have been the source of a crime. And the Justice Department said, we disagree. We're going to go ahead with it. The FBI continued to fight back, saying, we don't think there's probable cause. You certainly can't go to President Trump's office, or you certainly can't go to his bedroom and do it. And the Justice Department response was, you know what, we're going to expand the search. What you see here is a potential Fourth Amendment violation of President Trump's civil liberties. And this is significant, not just from a historical standpoint. A couple of weeks ago, Sean, I interviewed the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights, and that's Harmeet Dillon. And she said she is looking at the possibility of bringing criminal charges from anyone who tried to deny President Trump or one of President Trump's supporters their civil rights. That means this evidence, which, by the way, is still in the statute of 5 years, could potentially be prosecutable, or certainly go to the question of whether there should be a prosecution separately. And President Trump has shown he's not afraid to sue. I just asked the BBC, who found out that this week again. President Trump might have a very good suit, according to the legal experts I talked, that his civil liberties were infringed by the Justice Department. So this revelation is not just a historical or political revelation. It could have legal consequences.
No probable cause. If that's not a dual justice system, considering Hillary and Joe Biden, I don't know what is. And, you know, I remember reading something and learning something called unreasonable search and seizure. John Solomon, great reporting. Thank you.
Wow. Unreasonable search and seizure. Say it isn't so, Shady.
He always ends with the face slap moment.
You see, he was like 6'7", 6'7".
This guy is like, oh my God. We tolerated it. There you go. It was John Solomon we were trying to get to there.
Yeah. And by the way, we want to wish your kids a Merry Rizmiz and a Skibbity New Year, okay?
All the Garys and Debbies out there.
Apologize for that.
Whatever that means.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Okay. Tweedle, gotcha. I just didn't agree with that part of it, but I get it. It's a theory. Theories are okay. I'm okay with that. I just don't agree with that theory until we can prove stuff like that, right? So where are we going now? So we got that. So we've got Kash Patel putting out the documentation. Mar-a-Lago was set up as, so the FBI said there was no evidence to get into Mar-a-Lago, but they didn't listen. They just went ahead and did it anyways, guys. I mean, that's how crazy it is.
And and you think that, and that's not the end of the story right there. That's the beginning of the story, because what did they do? They didn't just go down there and go through his stuff. They went down there and they planted pictures.
Yeah.
And they took pictures of evidence that had like classified markings on it and then released it to the press, that stuff that was not there. So those pictures that they released where all the stuff was laying out on the floor, that stuff wasn't there.
Yeah.
It was fake.
It's fake.
They brought it there to take pictures of it in his office.
And also, I want to, this is worth remembering. Check this out, Shady.
There are, however, certain points I want you to know. First, I personally approved the decision to seek a search warrant in this matter.
The order, according to a court filing, contained a policy statement regarding the use of deadly force, which stated, for example, law enforcement officers of the DOJ may use deadly force when necessary. According to the filing, the DOJ and FBI agents plan to bring standard issue weapons, ammo, handcuffs, and medium and large size bolt cutters. But they were also instructed, according to the filing, to wear unmarked polo or collared shirts and to keep law enforcement equipment concealed.
There are, however,
The guy said you could use deadly force on Donald J. Trump, guys. I mean, are you kidding me?
But the reason that they wrote it like that is so the news media would pick up on it and make news about it. And what really made them mad, okay, you heard the parameters he just read there, to where they didn't want people outside to see that the FBI was raiding Mar-a-Lago so that they could put it in the news the way they wanted to put it in the news. But what happened was Donald Trump posted that the FBI is currently raiding my house in Mar-a-Lago on the internet. And that literally got everybody onto them while they were there, which is the last thing in the world that they wanted. And that's how they lost control of the story from the very beginning of it.
That's right. And Kevin Quirk was reporting absolutely correctly. This is from May 21st, 2024, Shady. Documents reveal that the Biden admin authorized the use of deadly force during the Mar-a-Lago raid. On my timeline, Shady, from May 21st, 2024, guys. We've known about this for a long time, haven't we, Shady?
We have definitely known about this for a long time.
Oh, my God. And now we're seeing it all come to light and actually being reported on the mainstream news, guys. It's crazy. And I'm happy about that, Shady.
I'm happy about it, too. I'm happy about every single thing that I'm seeing. I'm not disappointed. I'm not disappointed in the way that they handled this stupid Vanity Fair article. Like, everything that they're doing, the way that they're handling it is with grace and with some of the most unbelievable class that you could possibly imagine, whether it be RFK or whether it be Hegseth or whether it be Kash Patel. The way that they're interfacing, number one, they're interfacing with the world like they want to make the boss happy, which is the president of the United States. They want to do a good job. All of them act like they want to do a good job. Did you see? Just go back into your mind and look at the cabinet from the last 3 or 4 administrations. Did you ever get the impression from any of these people that they wanted the person that they were working for to think that they did a good job? It had nothing to do with anything that they were doing. The only thing that they were there to do would be figureheads so that the media and the infiltrated machine could continue doing what they were doing while you thought that there was something actually being done on the surface. The problem with Donald Trump isn't that he's a Republican. The problem with Donald Trump is he's crazy enough to think that he can change stuff for the better.
That's right. Shady, I got an ad for you here real quick. Let me just go ahead and read this one.
It's for me.
Oh, this is a good one, Shady. Blue Chew. Chewable tablets are made with active ingredients found in popular ED medications, but in chewable form, and not at a much more, at a much more affordable price. No waiting rooms, no pharmacy lines, just a quick online visit. Once approved by a licensed medical provider, Blue Chew sends the chew straight to your door. Look, guys, Blue Chew is the upgrade button for your sex life. Level up and get your first month free at BlueChew.com. And we've got a special deal for our Rumble listeners. Try your first month of Blue Chew free when you use promo code Rumble. Just pay the $5 shipping. That's the promo code Rumble. All plans include an online health assessment, prescription medication, if appropriate, monthly refills, and ongoing medical support. A prescription will only be written if deemed medically appropriate after an online health assessment with a licensed provider. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information.
Thank you for this stiff proposition.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It is. Very good one.
All right, so we got the Blue Chews done. We got that. We got, oh my gosh, guys. We've got interesting with the Alvin. I don't even know where to start and go from
I
after
was
that
getting ready to
commercial.
say,
I'm all
I
like,
just saw you go like 3 different ways at the same time.
Jeez. Oh my gosh.
Focus on one.
Yeah. I want to talk about the Rob Reiner thing, but I think we'll save that for hour number 2. There's a reason.
Go a minute.
I mean, everybody's thinking that his mean tweets were bad. Everybody's thinking that the way he treated his son, it's much deeper than that, guys. And I'm going to go through that with you. And Shady and I are going to go through that with you in hour number 2. You're going to not want to miss it, Shady.
Well, I think we gave you a little teaser to that yesterday, but since yesterday, a few more things have come to light. And it's just really interesting, this dynamic that is playing out right now, and the timing. Especially the timing. The idea that Barack and Michelle were supposed to be there that day is very odd.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And there were three Castle_Rock posts. One was with a flag. Another one was EAM loyalist. And, as you know, Rob Reiner founded Castle Rock. Very interesting.
It takes a village to run a coup. It takes a village to run a coup, Jeff.
It does. In other news that you just can't make up, this is Providence Police Chief Oscar Perez's nephew, Josh
This is
Perez.
crazy.
He was sentenced for 22.5 years in federal prison for running one of the largest fentanyl rings in the region, flooding Rhode Island and beyond with millions of deadly pills. Feds called his uncle, Sergeant Andreas Perez Oscar, a knowing or unwitting participant, yet no local PPD investigation ever occurred. How did this massive operation thrive under the nose of a family in command? What the heck is going on, guys?
I don't know, but I mentioned yesterday, whenever that guy was at the microphone, is this dude even an American? And I'm not meaning to besmirch an American if he is an American. Not seem like the chief of police at that microphone understood what his job was and understood exactly what it was he should be telling us. Or, as a matter of fact, it seemed like he was a guy that was under the thumb of the mayor, who seemed like a guy who was under the thumb of the governor, who all seemed like they're under the thumb of the university, who apparently don't have any cameras anywhere.
Oh my God, it's so crazy. Even President Trump asked where the cameras are. I mean, in today's day and age, you can't not have cameras in the digital age, guys.
Okay, but think about this. This is what I was thinking about, because we were theorizing that this is possibly we are theorizing that this is possibly some sort of maybe a Republican event or some sort of conservative thing that was going on. If that's the case, it's interesting because now they're saying this was some old building. So is it because the Republican group or whoever the club was wanted together? They're like, oh, well, we don't want you in our normal spaces, for the safe space idiots. We're going to put you over here. And then everybody knew that they were over here in this unprotected place, because if you track the path of this guy, it looks like he knew where the cameras was to avoid being on camera, is possibly the reason he wasn't on camera, which would mean he was at minimum in contact with university. He's in contact with somebody somewhere.
And also, pro-Hamas professors declare their support for the mass murder, Shady.
This was literally the cousin of the chief of police, the biggest fentanyl bust ever that he just talked about.
It was his nephew.
Or nephew. Nephew.
But I'm talking about now, the pro-Hamas professors are declaring their support for the mass murder, Shady. Oh, this is
October I didn't see 23rd. This.
Never mind. This is something else. But this is Brown University professors. Oh my God. This is not in relating to the crime. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay, because this is a conversation that is being forced. Everybody wants you to have a, quote, Jewish conversation. No one wants to have a Muslim conversation.
You nailed it.
Just saying.
I mean, wow. And, it's a big joke, guys. I mean, they're saying we don't have cameras. But look at this, Shady Grove. I mean, you got to see this. Check this out.
Oh, no. Yikes.
No footage. I'll try to say it again. There is no footage that depicts this individual. There is no.
What the hell? Is that really sign language for that?
I don't know.
What are you doing? It looks like you're eating a bad piece of rotten fruit.
No
looks like Yeti foraging.
He totally he didn't like it either.
He didn't like the forage.
He's like, that's sour leaf.
Wow. there's they're withholding details about the attacker to protect some things, I think. And
Probably.
This is the senator's words right here. There is simply no need from an investigative point of view for people who have no idea what they're talking about to offer their stupid and ill-informed views about what happened all over the internet. White House said during a judicial committee hearing Wednesday. So I would please just from a law enforcement perspective, ask anyone who sees this just to shut up until we know who did it and why. We will find out. Give it some. Are we going to trust Senator Whitehouse, who is funded by Arabella Advisors?
Yeah, I'm going to trust him. Yeah, I'm throwing my hat in that ring. I'm sorry, bro. I know that we're kind of like taking a split path here, but that's okay. We can still agree to disagree, right?
Yeah.
I'm currently on Team White House. Not the White House, but Rhode Island guy.
What?
He's scratching his head, guys. You see?
Because I don't even know what you're talking about.
I'm
All right, so this
trying to invert reality.
This is Saturday, December 13th at 4:19. There's a suspect there, and then all of a sudden, somebody's coming down the way, and he runs.
I didn't see that video yet.
Yeah,
maybe because he had the firearm visible or something.
And you can make a Glock into a long gun.
Yeah, the satchel that he had. They're saying it was a 9mm rifle, so yeah, you can effectively turn a handgun into that pretty easily.
Yes, you can. Yeah, and I think that might be why it could fit in the satchel and all that. So, wow. This is from the Last Refuge. This was on December 17th. It says human rights groups to university administrators dismantle surveillance to defend free speech. Now, open letter. Fight for the future.
And what is this about? Taking down surveillance?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, on the universities?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder why. Because the university can completely control the investigation. You guys know that they're not turning this over. They're not turning this investigation over to the feds.
That's right. Look at that.
Actually, Utah didn't turn it over either. Utah State
Brown University received the letter. Look at that. Wow, shady. Now, in the face of Trump's attacks on U.S. universities, what? The stakes of invasive tracking of students never have been higher. The troves of data amassed through surveillance tools can be assessed by agencies like Immigration and Customs Enforcement to track, intimidate, and disappear campus community members who have engaged in constitutionally protected speech. These attacks are part and parcel of the administration's broader campaign to criminalize immigrants in the expression of dissent, a campaign enabled by nationwide surveillance infrastructure, guys. Wow. So they're worried about protecting illegal aliens, but not worrying about 0.6% of Brown University's students who are Republican. And of that 0.6% of Brown University's Republicans, that's 72 people. One got killed on oh my God, shady.
Possibly two of them that were there, but we don't really know exactly.
Well, we know the one is absolutely the vice president of Young Republican Party Club at Brown University, and she was shot, unalived, point blank.
But it's possible we don't know that the other victim wasn't like, a fan of the club or had been in the club for a long time or any of this stuff. We don't know any of the specifics. We just know the specifics about her.
For all we know, it could have been a Young Republican Club meeting.
Well, that's what I think it was. I honestly think that that's what it was, and I think that somehow the administrators gave other people information to target it, to shut it down. This is the way that you shut down speech. This is you Charlie Kirk, quote unquote, people.
Yeah. Wow, guys.
And it also has to do with the university too, and the universities, guys. Let's just understand this. And I've talked about this on the Q Lounge, the idea of what the universities really represent. Almost every single one of the elite prep school universities existed in America before the revolution. It was like pulling teeth to get these universities to cooperate with the revolution. They didn't want to be part of America. They wanted to stay as a colony of England. Almost every single one of them did. But they were forced to pivot. But now they have utilized the last 100 years to... The universities are effectively the lead-in. The church connected to the university and the cartel are doing a lot of work to make sure that America goes away.
So let's look at Fight for the Future that wanted to take your your rights away, or the cameras away. It is a nonprofit. Fight for the Future was formerly called Center for Rights in Action, a 501c4 nonprofit advocacy group focused on internet-related issues such as support for net neutrality regulations in the FCC. The organization has also fought against online privacy bill it dubbed as censorship and promotes causes dealings with copyright legislation. They're in Worcestershire, Massachusetts. Worcestershire. Let's see. This is Stop Online Privacy, Battle for the Net, supporting FCC. I'm just going to go try to find out who the people are. Tiffany Chang and Holmes Wilson of co-founded Fight for the Future. Chang received total compensation of $41,000, Wilson $33,000. Funding. Let's see. Groups that have donated to Fight for the Future include Shuttleworth Foundation, Ford Foundation, Proteus Fund, Knight Foundation, Media Democracy Fund, and Wallace Global Fund. Other contributors include Yelp, DuckDuckGo, Data Foundry, Mother Jones, board member David Glasgow, and actress Evangeline Lilly. These people are the reason why we don't have a killer, Shady.
Yes. And Joe Ray is saying that her friend was saying that there was that they were doing a study hall. So
well, I've heard that too. I've heard study hall.
Yep.
I've heard studying for final exams. I've heard taking final exams, and I've heard all of that. So that's good to know, but still really not confirmed.
It's definitely not confirmed. Correct.
Yep. No, but thank you for that. So study hall, who knows? But kind of odd that 0.6% of Brown University is, or 0.6%. What was it, Shady?
It was
is Republican. Less than 1%, we'll just say. How about
under
that?
1%? Yeah.
How about that? Wow, guys, that's just crazy.
I think that this is going to unfold into a larger conversation about who these universities are.
Yeah.
And who's in charge here.
And they've got an $8 billion endowment, Shady Groove.
Yeah, but if you're sending your child, just think about it. If you're sending your child to the university to go to school, you're basically saying that I'm sending them to a foreign country, because you're saying that this university can box out the state police, the university can box out the FBI, the university can not release information related to the death of a student. The student doesn't belong to the university. The student belongs to America. You see? And so the idea that they're stopping the FBI from taking point on this, or stopping the state police, or the state police are working in conjunction, or whatever's going on, that's not in the best interest of the people that were murdered.
Yeah.
Or injured.
Yeah, kids. Wow.
In my opinion, anyway.
Yeah. I mean, we don't need video cameras to protect our children.
Well, then why did we invent them? We invented them to surveil everybody so that everybody could get the proper ads to their telephone. That's what.
Right. We
don't want to serve you an ad that you don't want to buy the product.
It's crazy, guys, what we are witnessing in today's day and age. And, I think Brown University is covering something up. And I think they know. There was the video of the police officer coming down the street, and there's the Brown University guy. He could have picked him up right there, Shady.
Mm-hmm. He went right by him.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't set off an alarm, so there was no alarm on the university. So people around the university, if they hear that alarm,
17 minutes, Shady.
Yeah, then nobody was called in. So then the guy shot. He got off like 40 some rounds. 40.
Wow, man. 40 rounds, Shady. That's
what I heard. That's
reloading, isn't it? I mean, unless
that's reloading a couple times.
Unless he has an extended clip.
None of us common folk are allowed to have a magazine that has more than 7 to 10 rounds.
That's right. So let me just play this before we get out of here, Shady. This is one of our clips that is on TikTok. Check it out. And if you people at Rhode Island University are covering up for somebody that did something to this beautiful Republican vice president, a young Republican vice president of Brown University, Ella, if she's because of your policies and your willingness to enhance the rhetoric against President Trump, against, calling people racist for realizing that people are shooting people. I mean, guys, this is absolutely disgusting. I think the Providence, Rhode Island police and Brown University should absolutely be ashamed of themselves. And looking at those people, I even said at the first press conference, they're in way over their head. And I think they're covering up, Shady. I really do. And this is just my opinion.
That's my opinion, guys. And I think they're covering up too.
I do too.
I do. Shady, we've talked about this again. People are trying to blame Cash Patel's FBI. You can't.
Nope.
Because they didn't call in for help. So they're running the investigation. FBI did not take over the investigation because they didn't allow them to.
Yep.
And we'll be right back after this beautiful boom messages.
The MG Show. Not funded by dark money, but funded by listeners like you.
Hello to all of you beautiful patriots out there.
First of all, let me just thank you all for supporting this show. We wouldn't be here without you. But I have a huge announcement regarding donations.
It has come to our attention that using the Rumble app is taking an additional 30% of your donation to the show.
Let me explain. According to our TOS, Rumble takes 20% of all donations made through the web browser.
And that's at 20%. It's a good deal if you consider other platforms like YouTube and such.
There is a hidden cost that we just found out. For example, we received the generous $500 donation from Spill Tea, and thank you so much for that, from the Rumble app on Apple. So Rumble took 20%, and Apple took an additional 30%. We brought that to Rumble, and they said, well, Rumble's take of tips and donations is 20%. That's if the transaction is done through the web browser. If using the Android or iOS app, it's an additional 30% collected by those platforms.
So please use the web browser to make your donations to the show and avoid the hidden fees by Apple and Android.
That's right. You can also support us at GiveSendGo/HelpMGShow, mg.show/donate. We have PayPal and Cash App. Both are at RealMGShow or $RealMGShow. Please help us out. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our biggest 3-in-1 sale ever with a limited edition product, a back in stock special, and a closeout deal you won't find anywhere else. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get our MyPillow bed sheets, only $29.88. Any color, any style, any size, even kings, regular $119.98, only $29.88. Once they're gone for good. How about our My Towels? They're finally back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And for the first time and the only time ever, get our limited edition premium My Pillows. They're made with Giza cotton and designer gusset. Queen $17.98, Kings only $19.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get the best offers ever. Quantities are extremely limited, so order now.
MyPillow is excited to announce they're having their biggest 3-in-1 sale ever with a limited edition product, a back-in-stock special, and a closeout deal you won't find anywhere else. MyPillow bed sheets, only $29.88, any color, any style, any size, even kings. Regular $119.98, only $29.88. Once they're gone for good. My Towels are finally back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And for the first and only time, get their limited edition premium My Pillows made with Giza cotton and a designer gusset. Queens, $17.98. Kings, only $19.98. Also, for a limited time, when your order is over $100, you will receive free shipping plus $100 in free digital gifts. So go to mypillow.com or call 800-873-0478 and use promo code MGSHOW. Use your promo code for the best offers ever. Quantities are extremely limited, so order now.
Little Johnny Cash for you, huh? Sounds like him, though.
Once CIA, always CIA. That's the golden rule, they say. Suit leaves Langley, but the leash don't break away. Trade the trench coat for a pinstripe, keep the burner in the drawer. Same old spooks just walking through a different marble door. Once CIA, always CIA. The badge don't ever fade. From the farm to the floor, they still run the same old trade. Black ops in the shadows, black ops in the light. Once CIA, always CIA, forever in the fight. Former spook in Congress, former spook in the race, former spook in the Senate, smile on his face. One became the president, wave from Marine One stare, but the files in Langley still list him as ours, handle with care. Define black op clandestine, off the books no trace, plausible deniability written all over the place. When the rogue boys in the agency decide the country's lost its way, they run a quiet op on Pennsylvania Avenue, the American way. Snowden wasn't CIA, he was NSA through and through. Worked out of the Cunha tunnel on a who's hidden side. Buried deep beneath old pineapple fields, turned spy bazaar. Cool concrete catacombs where the signals never died. Once CIA, always CIA. But NSA watches too. Five Eyes upstream prison, they know what you're about to do. When the whistleblower drops the docks and runs to Hong Kong's glow, the whole machine screams traitor, but everybody already knows. What happens when the deep black turns the guns back home? When Langley or Fort Meade decides who sits upon the throne? They leak, they forge, they flip the vote, they plant the compromat. Call it self-preservation when they stage a quiet coup like that. NSA versus CIA, mirror images in the dark. One collects the signals, one runs the cutouts and the sparks. But when the rogue wings flap together, friend and foe both feel the blade. One CIA, always CIA, and the Republic slowly fades. One CIA, always CIA. Ask not for whom the black op runs, it runs for thee today.
Some Johnny Cash vibes for you. Once CIA, always CIA, MG Music. C-Page helped with the words and the video. Thank you very much for that, C-Page. Rebel Valkyrie 17 on X. Shady Groove, welcome back. We're going to talk about the CIA, always CIA, once CIA, always CIA. We're going to talk about that today with John Brennan Clapper and Rob Reiner. Shady Groove, welcome back.
Thank you so much, man. And that song just is really excellent. It's a really excellent example of what it is that is this monster that we're effectively fighting. And whenever we classify it as a monster, it looks like a government intelligence organization, doesn't it? You know, you just say, "Oh, the CIA, it's the CIA," and you think it's not what it is. What it is an infiltration, foreign invasion, and a propaganda machine for foreign interest. And you're seeing that whenever you look at the internet. Look at the conversation that's being garnered about Jewish people and the attacks on Jewish people. Look at the virtue signaling that is going on about Muslim people. Isn't that interesting? Look at the virtue signaling that is going on about Mexican people or foreign people or illegal people. They're more concerned. Literally, this is not sarcasm.
Hyperbole.
It's not hyperbole. They are more concerned about illegal immigrants than they are about Americans killed by the illegal immigrants. That's not a joke. We have watched that. For example, we have seen that in clear view for years and years now. Now they're not hiding it anymore. They're literally saying it to you. So I did something real quick, and I want to present this to you because it's very easy to understand, and people don't want you to understand it. What would George Washington say about Americans flying foreign flags at protests?
Oh.
George Washington didn't directly address the modern concept of protest or flying foreign flags, but we can infer his perspective from his farewell address in 1796, where he strongly emphasized American unity, patriotism, and dangers of foreign influences or divided loyalties. Listen, what they've been preaching to you is that diversity is your strength. That is the most god-awful, stupid bunch of BS that they've ever tried to cram down your throat. Diversity is not your strength. Who in the hell comes up with this absolute garbage and nonsense? Unity is and always will be the example of strength. In that address of 1796, he warned Americans to, quote, guard against the impostures of pretended patriotism and to avoid, quote, passionate attachments or inveterate antipathies toward foreign nations, arguing that such sentiments could make the U.S. vulnerable to manipulation, corruption, and unnecessary conflict. He believed excessive sympathy for foreign causes could erode national cohesion. This means your sympathy, your virtue signal for the Muslim people, or your virtue signal for Zionists, or your virtue signal for any of it that's foreign, your virtue signal for Mexicans, your virtue signal for people that can't vote or can't get a car. Allowing outside powers to exploit internal divisions through factions or parties. Washington urged citizens to prioritize their shared American identity over any regional, partisan, or international allegiances, viewing the Union as the palladium of your political safety and prosperity, quote unquote. Applied to Americans flying foreign flags at protests, Washington might criticize it as a sign of fractured loyalty that risks inviting foreign intrigue or weakening the nation's resolve. He'd likely argue that true patriotism demands waving the American flag to symbolize collective strength and independence, rather than signals of alignment with external entities that could open the door to foreign influence and corruption. In essence, he'd probably say, steer clear of displays that divide us or entangle us with foreign passions. Unite under one flag for the sake of our republic, enduring liberty and peace. Now, as you watch what we're about to present to you, and you watch what Rob Reiner and the engineers at the quote-unquote intelligence agencies are doing, they are asserting that foreign interest is more important than your interest. If a country has free trade with you, but charge you a tariff, okay, that is the foreign entity, their position being made. Their position as a foreign entity is being made more important than your position. Every single thing that's going on with the intelligence communities prioritizes the opposite of what is the priority, so that they could confuse you and make enough people confused to where the people that are confused are the ones fighting you, and you never can reach the actual core of the problem. And the core of the problem is on full display, and we have to every day wake up and thank our lucky stars that a billionaire decided to set down his life and pick up a sword and wield it for you against an entity that is dead set on taking everything that he has.
So I'm sure, like with the Brown University happenings and all that, I'm sure, the city of Providence never.
Well, Kim, supporters gathered for a ceremony behind me on the steps of City Hall. They say raising this flag shows solidarity with the Palestinian people, but others called the move divisive. While there were no physical altercations that we could see, there were some tense moments as people exchanged words.
Wow.
And there you have content that you will not find anywhere else in America because everyone else tells you diversity is your strength.
Wow.
As
there was a time when we stood at attention with our hands over our hearts for the American flag. Republicans and Democrats, guys. Where did that go, Shady?
The intelligence agencies took it from us through propaganda and lies. That's where it went.
Yeah. I'm so thankful for Trump says Wigwam. Thank you so much. Let's go over to YouTube. Say hello to everybody over there. Virtue signaling Zippy Chicky. Yep. Thank you so much. And hi, Annette. How are you today over on YouTube? YouTube.com/InTheMatrix with 3 X's is there. Rumble.com/MG Show. Can you make a TikTok account without getting the app? I don't know. Maybe. On your browser. I don't know. You have to look into that. But follow us on TikTok at mgshow.clips if you do get that account. Thank you so much. Also, I just want to go ahead. We got Chicago steak, Shady Groove.
Oh, you're hungry.
I love Chicago and I love steak. Wow, here we go. I love Chicago and I love steak. Still scrambling for that Christmas gift while many shipping deadlines have already passed? Here's your lifeline, Chicago Steak Company. Head to mychicagosteak.com/rumble. Use that code Rumble. They are still shipping for Christmas and still shipping is free. Hurry though, slots are filling up fast. Gift your loved ones that top 2% of beef in America. USDA Prime and Premium Angus, hand cut by master butchers, marbling so good that it hits that hot pan and fills that whole house. With that sizzle, that buttery meat goodness. You know the one. Spend $229 and they'll throw in 6 free ribeyes plus free $240 plus shipping free $240 in premium steak on the house. Your gift shows up in a black and gold box packed with dry ice. They crack it open. Vapor rolls out. Instant Christmas morning feel. Skip the sweater. Give them something they'll actually remember. mychicagosteak.com/rumble. Use code Rumble, RUMBLE, RUMBLE at mychicagosteak.com/rumble.
All right. Now I'm less hungry.
Oh, man.
We have to understand that this is the word used to describe America. Melting pot. Melting pot. And I want to drive this home before Jeff gets into what he's getting ready to go into.
Not diversity pot?
It's not solidifying pot. Yeah. You don't solidify. You don't get into the pot and solidify into your own country. You get into the pot and you melt into an American. If you don't melt into an American, then you might as well just go back where you came from, because we don't want you here anyway. And I'm tired of your stupid influence. People from foreign countries don't have the ability to stand up for their freedom of speech. People from foreign countries don't have the ability to stand up for their right to own a weapon. People from a foreign country don't have the ability to stand up for their right to defend their property against unreasonable searches and seizures, because they don't have those. They don't have that. They don't have it in their mind. They didn't learn it whenever they were kids. They don't think that it's afforded to them. Therefore, you can lord over them like you lord over them in their home country. And that's exactly what you're seeing doing. The intelligence agencies are acting as the king over their peasants, if you will, that are occupying our damn country.
Yeah. So let's get into what we want to get into, because I think it's very applicable, okay, what you just brought up. And, Nick Reiner viciously and evilly murdered his parents unalived. Sorry, YouTube. But it is true. It's reporting the news. And I want to know who his therapist is. I want to know why the Obamas were actually wanting to be there that night. Very interesting, okay? But Rob Reiner conducted a high-profile interview with former CIA Director John Brennan and former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper on February 7th, 2019, titled Democracy Under Attack. A conversation with James Clapper and John Brennan is the name of it. The video, entitled Get the Truth, was produced and released through Reiner's Committee to Investigate Russia, CIR. It's a nonprofit that he co-founded in 2017. To highlight Russian interference in the 2016 election. Okay? In it, Reiner discusses with Brennan and Clapper Russia's actions during the 2016 election, their concerns about ongoing threats to the democracy, and their need for vigilance, aligning with the Obama-era intelligence community's assessment of Russia meddling. Russia collusion narrative. That interview amplified claims of Russian election interference favoring Trump, which fueled the broader collusion probe. No evidence of direct Trump-Russia coordination or collusion was ever proven. The Mueller report 2019 found Russian interference, but did not establish collusion by conspiracy or by the Trump campaign. The Durham report 2023 exposed the FBI's mishandling politics bias of the probe's origins, including the Clinton campaign ties to the Steele dossier. That lacked a predicate for a full investigation, confirming as a manufactured hoax pushed by deep state actors and media. Now, the Steele dossier lawyer was also the CNN lawyer and with the judge that approved Mar-a-Lago. Crazy. The declassified materials in 2025 updates, the DNI, Tulsi Gabbard, she revealed that Brennan and Clapper's roles in promoting a contrived narrative, including manipulated assessments and ignoring exculpatory info. Reiner's CIR advisory board included Clapper, aggressively promoted the interference and collusion story as fact, despite later revelations proving that the Trump-Russia ties were baseless smears and designed to undermine a duly elected president. Trump's MAGA and America First policies exposed and dismantled this establishment orchestrated attack on the Republic. Okay. No apologies from Reiner, Brennan, Clapper, or their allies who continue defending the hoax, guys. There's going to be a time where you can't defend it. And, I know Rob Reiner passed, but, people don't want you to talk about Rob Reiner. They're really upset about Rob Reiner and his ties to, Brennan and Clapper. And what President Trump said, I think he rightfully had a right to say that. It's deeper and more connected than you feel or think. This is the Committee to Investigate Russia, Shady. This is Rob Reiner, okay? It's investigaterussia.org. The Committee to Investigate Russia is a left-of-center nonprofit founded in 2017 by actor, film producer, and longtime left progressive activist Rob Reiner. The committee provided a left-of-center anti-Trump perspective on Russia's influence on the American election until its disbandment on March 29th, 2019, after the issuance of the report of the United States Department of Justice Special Counsel Robert Mueller. The committee's operations were primarily limited to operating a website, investigaterussia.org, and to aggregate news related to Russia's election interference in the U.S. and research aggregation related to overall national security threats from Russia, which there were none. All right. And then you go down to look at the mission, get Trump. Okay. That's basically the get Trump guys. Okay. The controversies, that we're talking about. The CIA Mike Morrell is involved, Shady Groove.
Yep.
Okay. Who's Mike Morrell related to, Shady? Give you guys 3 stars in general if you can figure it out, guys. All right. Now, I also want to just say, this is very interesting because, all of these people, Shady, were friends. Okay. I've got a meme that I made. Maybe it's too soon. I don't know, Shady, but I'm going to grab it whenever I can find it here. Oh, my God. Where did it go?
Where did you put it?
It's right here where I left it.
You're going to have to find that.
I'm sure where I left it. It's right here. Oh, no, it's right here. Okay, here, I got it. So we're going to see, these people walk in, okay? You see these people walk in. This is Democracy Under Attack, a conversation with James Clapper and John Brennan, okay? This is this was February 7th, 2018, while the Q operation was happening, Shady, okay?
Yep.
And this is, this is the case against Donald Trump is open and shut. He committed a single and worst crime against democracy in our nation's history. He led a deadly attack on the U.S. government to overthrow the will of the people. Any senator who has said otherwise is a seditionist, Rob Reiner. Where did it go? Here it is. So these people were all friends. You think? Here's the target. Here's the financer. Here's the intel communities that did this bullshit narrative, Shady.
Inserting a foreign influence operation into the election bloodstream.
It's a theory. Looks pretty much like an op to me. Who sat with Mueller 16 times?
Flynn.
Wow. Yeah. And they're buddies, guys. Clapper was Flynn's boss.
He said Comey was his great friend.
Yeah. Russia, Russia, Russia. And I'll give you 3 stars in general why President Trump says Russia, Russia, Russia.
Foreign influence op.
Trump then went ahead and said, hey, I fired Flynn. You know, can this Russia, Russia, Russia thing be over? Chris Christie said, no. General Flynn is going to be like the gum on the bottom of your shoe and don't talk about it.
And boy, has it been.
Mm-hmm. So that is the mini dig. And now let's watch the whole thing called this is the Democracy Under Attack, a conversation with James Clapper and John O'Brien, Shady.
John O'Brien.
I mean, I think we need to watch this, and I'll stop it, Shady. If you want me to stop, just let me know.
If I get my razor back up, I'll yell at you.
If you get your razor back up, we'll do it. Here we go, guys. You know, I know they don't want us to talk about Rob Reiner. Rest in peace. It was vicious, okay? But was it a cover-up? Because, I mean, why were the Obamas going to be there that night? Who is Nick Reiner's therapist? What happened? What really happened? That's my
Loose
question.
lips sink ships would be the preceding theory there.
Oh, wow. Here we go.
Either person can sit at either place.
Either place.
Whatever's good for you.
I don't think either one of us has a good side.
You don't
so
have
it
a
doesn't
good
matter.
side. It doesn't
We're both
matter.
bad sides.
All right, me too. We're both of the follically challenged. So thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. The thing that to me is so frustrating is that this cataclysmic thing happened to our country, and people don't seem to understand the gravity of it. And, you guys were talking about how, it's unusual for people who have been, how many years experience do you have between you, would you say?
Well, Jim has several hundred, I think.
Probably 80 or 90 between the two of us.
So here you are with all that experience. Have you ever seen anything like this happen in this country? I mean, anything like this kind of attack on our political system?
Well, no, not at least to me, as disturbing as this. I mean, I'm a Vietnam War veteran. I went through all the stresses that the aftermath of the Vietnam War, but I never felt even then that our fundamental institutions were jeopardized. In fact, our fundamental institutions proved themselves resilient then. And we actually came out of all that a better country. And hopefully we'll have the same experience now.
To me, it underscores 2 points. One is how determined Mr. Putin is to shape the political landscape, both inside of Russia as well as outside of Russia, whether it be in Europe or the United States or the Middle East, other places. He seeks ways to manipulate and exploit the environments. But secondly, it really does underscore just how consequential that digital domain is. And as Jim noted, we've seen these things being done by the Russians over the course of many years. But the fact now that this digital environment, this cybersphere, gives the Russian intelligence security services so much more opportunity to manipulate and to exploit. And they took full advantage of that in the 2016 election. That's why we saw things of much greater concern and intensity than we'd ever seen before. And I think Americans really need to understand.
Now, remember, everything this man is saying has been proven false, okay? You need to keep that in mind.
And just how vulnerable we are to exploitation of the environment by malign actors around the globe.
Is it something that we did not see happening, that we couldn't foresee? I mean, because, we talked about, 9/11, nobody, the planes hitting a building. It seems like they found a huge seam in the
Russians, and this goes back to the Soviet era, there's a long history of them intervening and influencing elections, theirs and other people's. And there's historical records that they've attempted to interfere in virtually all.
Look here, Russia. Don't look there, China.
Yeah, and interesting. Pay attention to that, because what you're watching is the old guard. The old guard was set 100% completely up by inserting fear of Russia, this Russian Cold War thing. When the Cold War wasn't real, guys, You understand that, right? The Cold War was fake. That was a fake thing that they could utilize to manipulate the office of the presidency through multiple different presidents until they've got the one that they wanted, which was the ex-CIA guy, Bush 1.
Wait till you guys start hearing about the uranium one and sales to Russia. Wait till you'll hear about all that, guys. It's all going to come out.
But no, that's very important that you're saying that, because what you're going to see is you're going to see people like Brennan and Clapper were agreeing on the idea of we should be selling Russia uranium. As they sit here on this side of their mouth, tell you, oh, you got to be afraid of Russia. On the other side of their mouth, they're like, oh, it's fine, Hillary. Sell them as much uranium as they need.
That's right.
That's insane.
It's insane. This is an operation against you, the American people, guys. Here we go. More.
Since the 60s, but never this aggressive, direct, or multidimensional. And of course, as John indicated, they're taking advantage of a huge enabler, the internet and all the technology that gives you, and the ability to influence opinion. A way they've found to attack us is to undermine our fundamental system.
I don't think that, I mean, from my standpoint, I don't think that we, in all of the technological revolution that we've seen over the years, I don't think we have fully understood the power of what it could do. I mean, we certainly understood spreading information, getting word out, being able to, cross boundaries with information. But I don't think we ever thought, I mean, I don't know if you hadn't thought how it could be weaponized to this extent. I mean, was that something that occurred to you, or did you see that as something?
For me, probably not. That's why when this all began to unfold in 15 and 16, and it was kind of insidious as we became more aware of what they were doing, and then I think in the late summer, early fall of 16, when you really saw the magnitude of what they were doing. And for me,
and in 2016, Flynn went to Russia, guys, sat with Vladimir Putin. Okay, these people said Flynn would like you to think that he was set up. If he's a national director of intelligence, or wouldn't he know either that, or he's a real dumb spook?
Well, but that's the point, right? You can never square the circle with these people. You can never get things to reconcile. They're intentionally saying things that will not reconcile, because if they said things that would make sense, then all of a sudden they would be revealing what they're doing to you.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of bad stuff in my 50 years in intelligence, but I don't recall anything that gave me viscerally in the pit of my stomach a more uncomfortable, uneasy feeling than when I realized what the Russians were doing.
Right. The Russians have conducted active measures for many, many years. And in the physical domain, you have certain indicators and signatures that you can forensically then, connect so that you can trace it back then to the ultimate perpetrator or who directed it. But now, just like with terrorists.
So I just wanted to bring the attention to the way that Clapper and Brennan are talking to Reiner. They're talking down to him. They're basically filling his head full of mesmerizing things so that he doesn't even begin to question. There's no moment for the questioning of anything that they're saying. If you listen to them with an objective perspective, I think that every single person that's watching this in our audience right now, you're seeing it, right?
Yeah.
47 in the chat. If you're seeing what they're doing to Reiner right there, this is an insane manipulation. And the reason I'm bringing that up, that it's so important, is because that every single person that they interface with does this. The person sits there like this, an open book, and everything just gets flooded into their brain, and then they just become a repeater because you have this idolization for these absolute idiots. I have no respect for them. Therefore, since I don't have any respect for them, their nonsense doesn't affect me. I don't think that they're smart. I don't think they are intelligent. I don't think that they have our best interest at heart. And I sure as hell don't think that they're pro-America winning. So effectively, nothing that they say is relevant. If you use that filter, you can all of a sudden see the way that they use tradecraft against people that are around them to make them, appear smart.
Yeah. It's all a big game, guys.
It's a big game. It's a charade.
and organized criminals and others, intelligence services can do things in that cyber domain that they can really camouflage and mask their steps. So I think we always anticipated that the Russians will continue to try to exploit certain situations. But now with this digital environment, it's become much more challenging for intelligence, security, and law enforcement services to understand exactly who is behind some of these activities that really make it very challenging for us to understand who is actually directing these actions.
You guys were there when you saw the initial attack. And you hear this term all the time, collusion, conspiracy, coordination. I mean, these things are thrown around all over the place. But the idea of active measure.
Did you see Brennan's smirk? Because he's the one that filled it in your heads, guys. He lied. There was no collusion. Remember this, guys.
There could have been no better moment to prove the point that I just made than that smirk.
Boom.
Wow.
That the Russians have, trafficked in for forever. What does that look like? I mean, what would, like in a political campaign like this, what does an active measure look like?
Well, I think a lot of times what the Russians, as well as others do, is to either fabricate a story or to take a story that may be patently false, but yet
this is what they do.
Narrative and argument and push it out and propagate it and lend legitimacy to it. And so it's a way to color people's perceptions and impressions of individuals.
I understand that St. Petersburg is pushing out, trolls and bots and getting, messages out and piggybacking on messages that, the Trump campaign is doing. Is there any granularity to getting into these districts in Wisconsin or Michigan or, did they play on that level?
It appears now that.
Now, I'd also like to point out that Michigan, who is all involved in Michigan and Wisconsin, Shady Groove? I'll give you 3 stars in general if you can figure it out.
In-depthly involved.
And who is self-admittingly CIA? Patrick Byrne. This is all connected, guys.
It's all, and whenever Jeff says it's connected, he means it's connected back to the beginning of Russia. The Russia started before Donald Trump had won the primary. They were setting it up for whoever became the Republican nominee against Hillary as a way to weaken the Republican candidate and guarantee a Hillary win.
Yeah. Meathead is a useful idiot, nothing more. However, the CIA runs Hollywood.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's a little bit more than a useful idiot.
I think so, too.
It was pretty sophisticated, and they did focus on certain voter blocks. And, of course, 70 or 80,000 votes in 3 states would have swung the election. And apparently, the Russians have gone to school on our system, understand it. We've had very successful campaigns in this country. President Obama, case in point, where they did this micro-analysis on a district-by-district, precinct-by-precinct basis.
They would understand that based on just, observing American television, or they need some kind of help through a Cambridge Analytica or people on the ground who have been, assets that have been developed over many years?
That's a good question. They could have, but it's very clear.
He brings up Cambridge Analytica.
They understood.
Interesting. Because Cambridge Analytica is the lead-in for where they tried to pretend like, so that was Bannon's department to get all of that stuff set up to make it look like that they were able to manipulate the election through quote unquote Cambridge Analytica. That was the whole thing. It's crazy it's crazy the amount of time that they spend on something. It's very similar to the amount of time that they have spent trying to go after Susie Wiles, like Rakeland and all these people, these InfoWars people going after Susie Wiles for the last 3 months, only for it to culminate for a big Vanity Fair hit piece right there at the end to kind of quote unquote prove their point. This is the same model they're showing you right there.
Yeah. Stone Circle says Reiner is low IQ. He doesn't know what he believes. He's doing this now. He believes this, guys. He's Castle Rock. He filmed this. He's got a committee. He led the committee on Russian investigation. He financed it. Everybody knows better, Shady. Everybody, oh, well, he played meathead. That means he's a meathead.
No.
Everybody knows better, don't they?
the political dynamics, political landscape here, and they certainly understood how to use tools to exploit it.
The Russians take full advantage of the openness of our society. They have operated here in the United States for many, many years. So they can have access to experts and others who they try to elicit information from, even those individuals who do not even know that they're interacting or supporting the Russians. So we're looking at the different attack vectors. Information was one of them in terms of what they were pushing out. Collecting information from the internet in terms of the email theft that went on with the DCCC, the DNC. But also we knew from experience that the Russians had many different methods of influencing elections in Europe. Getting politicians to accept money. Trying to get push money into political parties, maybe camouflaging the source, and extorting and even blackmailing individuals to work with them. We've seen that across the board, and there's a lot of publicly available information and stories about that.
To try to understand the intersection between money laundering, cyber warfare, and influence peddling, I mean, how does all of that work?
Well, to the extent that you can hide the money, hide the disguise sources of funding for political action groups, which may...
Here you go, Shady. They're telling you how to do it now, aren't they?
But isn't this exactly what we said that they would do? They're literally the only thing they can do is tell you what it is that they are doing, but blame it on someone else so that they're basically admitting that they're criminals.
They're admitting that they're setting up 501c4s.
Yes.
What did Flynn's do?
He said, "Well, I think that he was given that insight from Patrick Byrne. Patrick Byrne is the one that taught him how to make sure that 501c4 was working right, and then he got the America's Future one that already existed.
So let's just say the CIA taught him how to do that.
Yeah,
okay,
let's just say it. Let's just say how to identify a spook.
Right. Let me go back up just a little bit. Here we go. This is huge, guys.
Wow. I'm glad we're playing this.
How does all of that work?
Well, to the extent that you can hide the money, hide the disguise sources of funding for political action groups, which may be quite legitimate. They'll use financial instrumentalities to hide the passage of that funding to political movements or interest groups. But I do know that collusion is clearly a tool in the kit bag that the Russians will use.
Right.
So any way they can co-opt somebody, recruit them, influence them, even on where the party that they're recruiting is unwitting.
Does it any point these people explain how there gets to be more votes in an election to manipulate an election?
It's crazy, Shady.
At no point does anything that they say have anything to do with like an election being manipulated in favor of a specific candidate, except for the idea that you're trying to lie and undermine the other candidate, which is Donald Trump, by saying the Russians tried to help him.
Right.
It couldn't be more stupid.
So now, realizing that Patrick Byrne is CIA, listen to this.
I really like the research that you guys have been doing on Arabella. We actually started the America Project. When you started coming out with that, I was like, Jeff's right on. Jeff and Shady are right on this, because when we started the America Project, when we sat around and we kind of whiteboarded what did we want, guess what our model was? Arabella. It was Arabella.
So the model is, he's basically admitting it right there. What was our model? We learned the model. The model is hide the money with the 501c4, distribute it to the 501c3s that can utilize it for political action. That's the model.
Wow. Because a 501c4, if you're new and joining us today and don't understand what we're talking about, a 501c4 does not, I repeat, does not have to tell you who to the penny donated to your 501c4. A 501c3 has to list every donor. So they have regular 501c3s out in the front, and then they call them political action committees or PACs, or educational 501c4s spiraling off. So this is CIA craft, Shady Grove.
It is perfect CIA craft, and we are uncovering the biggest story in American history here.
I don't think, do you guys understand? Do you guys realize
that's the reason that we
huge? Like,
that's the reason
17, if you guys know this is huge, Shady.
The reason we've been treated this way for the last 7 years.
You think?
I do.
Well,
every opportunity where they saw an opening, they'll exploit it.
But following that financial trail is so critically important on so many aspects of national security. We do it in the terrorism realm. We do it in the counterintelligence realm. We do it in the proliferation arena as well. And the FBI financial investigators, as well as the intelligence community financial analysts, they are tremendous. And that's why I do have confidence that Bob Mueller and others are going to get to the bottom of some of this by tracing the money and see what might have, circumvented the norm.
And Bob Mueller didn't get to the bottom of it.
Right.
He realized that it was Flynn.
Yep.
16 times he was interviewed, and there was no collusion with Donald J. Trump and or the campaign. No collusion.
But it's very interesting the way that this is basically a promo for the Mueller report.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And it failed. It was, you just imagine like Reiner sitting there watching Mueller that day after he did all this work.
Well, he closed it. Reiner closed his 501c.
Yeah, he had to.
Mm-hmm.
Normal procedures for moving money, and was there a motivation, a political motivation behind it, either on the giver or the receiver's part?
I mean, listen, we talk about our system, our democratic way of life came under attack. I mean, we use those terms, because they attacked an election, but we don't talk about it in terms of war. I mean, it's cyber war, and it's there's no tanks, there's no planes, there's no infantry. I mean, there's none of that. And yet, perhaps Putin thinks of it as, because if you say it's been going on for a long time, which it has been, since probably the Tsarist days, it is a war. It's a war for wrestling for an ideology, whether or not democracy is going to survive. He's been trying to undermine it for forever. So in his mind, it is a war. So how do we respond?
I think we have to strengthen that cyber environment, certainly. We learned some very painful lessons because of 9/11. But as a result of 9/11, the Congress established a commission, 9/11 Commission, that tried to address those gaps, those shortcomings. I have been a long proponent of having a similar type of commission established by Congress, an independent commission, that can take a look at what we need to do in the future to better protect and safeguard that environment, and have the engineers and futurists and technologists and scientists and U.S. officials and private sector, all of them getting together, something akin to a major undertaking to look at it strategically. So trying to strengthen that environment, and it's not just against attempts to interfere in the election, but also again, criminals and terrorists and pedophiles and others. And I don't think we as a country have yet come to terms with what the role of the government is in that environment.
And why do you think that didn't happen? I mean, when the buildings were hit, or when the bombs hit Pearl Harbor, we all came together as a country. We knew we had been attacked in some level. Now, I understand.
So they're bringing up hooks for people's mental health. You got 9/11, Pearl Harbor. These are all triggers to make you more susceptible to their message, guys.
Yep.
Crazy.
This is a much more insidious type of attack that you don't feel right away, but it is an attack at the fabric of democracy. There's no question about it. Why isn't it that we didn't respond the way we, why wasn't there, George W. Bush standing on the pile of rubble saying, you'll hear from all of us? I mean, our democracy was attacked.
Precisely because we didn't have a pile of rubble. Things in the physical domain that you can see, feel, and touch, destroyed buildings, people killed, wounded, injured. That has a much more apparent, immediate and indelible impact on people than something in the cyber domain, which is a bit more ethereal, and it's hard to, doesn't have physical attributes, so it's harder to get your arms around.
Well, for instance, after 9/11, George W. Bush was reluctant initially to have a 9/11 commission because, obviously, from a political standpoint, he might be blamed for not, being more proactive or whatever. But ultimately, he agreed to do it because the country's security and the protection of our country was more important and trumped any kind of, personal political gain that he had. But I don't see that now. I don't see that, and that's what scares me.
It really comes down, I think, to leadership. as long as the occupant of the Oval Office continues to refute the unanimous assessment of CIA, FBI, and NSA about what they did, and continues to ignore, I think, the real challenges to our system of government by what the Russians and others can do, it undercuts any effort to try to deal with this issue comprehensively, strategically, and thoughtfully. And until that leadership that comes out of the White House is really going to say, this is critically important for our future as a country and as a democracy, it's going to be a really tough road.
And why doesn't he? Why isn't that? I mean, I mean, I understand, you know, his feeling like maybe it's going to delegitimize his election, and, you know, I don't know. We don't know where any of these investigations are going to go. But we're talking about our country. Our democracy is at stake here. So
when we briefed, John and I, and
you guys were there
briefed
when this happened.
The president-elect at the time on January 6th. I think he viewed what we presented to him, which had very high confidence levels in what we presented him, which, by the way, a point I'll make, had nothing to do with the dossier. We did not draw on the dossier. The dossier, the infamous dossier, was not a part of our intelligence community assessment.
Right.
What we did present, we had very, very high confidence level in. And I believe his first reaction to it was that this caused a question about the legitimacy of his election, which wasn't the intent at all. And yeah, I get it, that's important. But the bigger issue here, and what is bothersome to me, is the singular indifference to the threat posed by Russia.
To me, and the way I see it, it goes beyond, you know, not pushing back. There's been an active, you know, effort on the administration's part to denigrate the intelligence community, to denigrate law enforcement and the Justice Department. And to me, that's the most disturbing, because we're talking about it's one thing to say fake news, and the media is, you know, destroyed, or he tries to destroy the credibility of the media, but he's trying to destroy the credibility of our security system.
Well, I have said consistently that in the case of the intelligence community, I believe the intelligence community as an institution will continue to convey truth to power. And whether the power accepts that truth or not, well, that's another issue. Now, I don't know how long that can be sustained. I do worry about that, but I believe the fundamental instincts of the community are to do the right thing. I do worry about the denigration of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the premier law enforcement organization on the planet, which is composed of 35,000 plus people. Yeah, they're humans. Do they make mistakes? Sure. Does the Bureau make mistakes as an institution? Yes. But overall, when you think about what the Bureau does for this country, day in and day out, rank and file, patriotic, dedicated professionals all over this country and all over the world, keeping this nation safe and secure. And I wish we could keep that in perspective.
Yeah, the comments coming out of Mr. Trump's mouth have been very dispiriting to the professionals at CIA, FBI, NSA, and others who really dedicate their lives with great sacrifice, and certainly very dispiriting to their families that make great sacrifices on behalf of their loved ones, as well as it sends, I think, a very bad message to the people of the United States, which is that these are the institutions that were established to protect our democracy, our security, our safety. It also sends a very bad signal to the world that if the person who holds the title of president denigrates, disparages the work and the professionalism and the integrity of the FBI and CIA and others, how then is the rest of the world going to look at those institutions? How are the CIA and FBI going to be able to work with counterparts around the globe on issues related to, life and death matters, whether it be terrorism or proliferation or whatever, or interference in democratic systems? So the power of those words that have come out, I think, cannot be sort of understated. And I'm hoping we're going to be able to get through this very, very, I think, very sad chapter of our history. But I have great confidence that the professionals that Jim and I worked with at the organizations are trying to do their very best to protect this country, because that's why they do what they do. They love this country, and irrespective of the denigration, irrespective of the lack of honesty and integrity of the people at the highest levels of government, the professionals and intelligence and law enforcement will do their work.
One of the great resources that we've been given is the wisdom of the founding fathers to create a constitution upon which we can build this wonderful, now 241-year experiment that we've had. And my fear is that those pillars of that institution are being torn away. The press, the law enforcement, intelligence, and we're seeing
press and law enforcement have nothing to do with the founding of the country.
Congress. That's my fear. And the question I always have is, is our Constitution created strong enough to withstand this kind of assault?
I hope and pray that that Constitution, which has stood us in great stead for many, many years, will sustain us through this bad period. But in the end, it's how we as a nation and how the nation's leadership, and I mean by that both the Congress and the administration, the executive branch, how well they abide by it.
The President of the United States needs to speak with the greatest amount of precision, honesty, and integrity, because he or she speaks to the world, and he or she serves as a role model every moment of every day.
People who have held very high positions in the intelligence community, as you guys have, obviously, don't normally come out and speak out the way you have been speaking out. What is it that the reason you come out? Why do you do that?
For me, this is
because they're guilty as hell.
I've toiled in the trenches of intelligence for every president since and including John F. Kennedy. My dad was an Army officer. I've been a political appointee in both Republican and Democratic administrations. So I've always been instinctively apolitical. The oath of office you take, though, is not to a person. You don't pledge loyalty to a person. You pledge loyalty to the Constitution. And because our institutions that underpin this country are under assault, both from external sources, Russia, and internal sources, that I need to speak.
Well, Jim and I and other senior intelligence officers love this country, and we have worked long and hard to do what we could in our own little individual ways to contribute to this country's safety and security. I never thought I would witness what I've been seeing over the past year, as far as what is happening to our government, the dishonesty, the lack of integrity, the lack of ethics. We spent our lives looking at foreign governments and countries and analyzing them and seeing how corruption and incompetence and ineptness and lack of ethics undermined the ability of countries to thrive. And I never thought I would see some of those similar types of traits and attributes here.
Huh.
I'm just kind of scrolling the Q post. This is just Brennan, okay? We've known about this for a long time, and that's why YouTube censored us. I'll guarantee you that right now, Shady Groove.
I completely agree, and to some degree, that's why X censored us, and that's why the InfoWars digital bots also censored us.
That's right. I got a shady message. What did he say?
Oh, it's good. It's for after.
Oh. I just want to make sure I didn't forget something.
I'm just getting everything prepared.
You want to do another Blue Chew ad is what you want to do.
I want to do whatever you want to do, my friend.
Man. I tell you what, I'm glad we watched that. It's funny we get comments. Did we watch it yesterday? Yeah, we watched part of it yesterday.
Only a few minutes of it.
Then I did a deep dig. You're going to want to go to the top of hour 2 to talk about the dig that we did and how this might, it did says there was an RR, what makes actors good post, could be Rob Reiner. Okay, it could be. But I looked at the RR posts and most of them were for Rod Rosenstein. Yeah. So, but good catch, guys. Good catch. But we are realizing these people are working for the bloodlines, the United States of America and body politic. President Trump is working for you, the people. Look at the actions, okay? Don't look at mean tweets. Don't look at stupid influencers. Right. your children, if you have a child, you get $1,000. And by the time he's 18 or he or she's 18, it could be like $100 and some odd $1,000. It's if you put guys, your country is being brought back to you. Tariffs are now on the table again. People ask you, how was DC built before tax income? Well, it was built on tariffs, guys. And the president of the United States has 3 roles: to protect your border, check, right? To protect intercommerce issues between states, okay? And to mitigate and do deals with foreign governments, guys. Tariffs. And the Supreme Court, I hope you realize that this case is imperative to keep to keep us on the right track, to be really into the golden age, Shady.
Get out there and make some babies.
Yeah. Oh, Blue Chew. Wait, what? Love you guys. See you tomorrow. Power to the people. God bless you, Shady. Thank you, Yeti. We love you all. Thank you for the donations, guys. Thank you for letting us read these commercials and stuff like that. We are only here because of you. Thank you very much. Share the show.
You have a choice. It's always been yours. A voice they can't silence, breaking through the noise. They pull the strings, they set the stage, divide us with wars, lock us in a cage. Race and class, faith and fear, they scream so loud, but we're still here. Through MG show, the truth breaks free. MG music lifts us, a rallying plea. Power to the people, hear the call ignite. Dark to light, we're stepping out tonight. They're losing grip, their shadows fade. Together we stand unafraid. Oh, power to the people. Oh, we'll never let it go. They shame the brave, they chain the free. Group think marching, but not for me. Hollywood glitters, leaders deceive, but MG show shines, makes us believe. Defend the chaos, push the dread. Nuclear whispers, words they bled. MG music plays a rebel sound. The truth is clear, it's all around. Power to the people, hear the call ignite. Dark to light, we're stepping out tonight. They're losing grip, their shadows fade. Together we stand unafraid. Oh, power to the people. Oh, we'll never let it go. We planned, we fought, we took the reins. Through the storm, through the chains. Antifa rises, fears their game. But MG show calls out their shame. Sheep may follow blind and weak. MG music wakes us, truth we seek. God bless the brave, the heart sincere. From every shore, the call is clear. Power to the people, hear the call ignite. Dark to light, we're stepping out tonight. They're losing grip, their shadows fade. Together we stand unafraid. Oh, power to the people. Oh, we'll never let it go. Stand firm, be strong, the words resound. All men are equal on sacred ground. MG show leads, MG music sings. The people's power spreads its wings. Power to the people. Oh, power to the people. We rise.
We rise. www.mg.show. Boom.